The 3 weeks went by really, really fast. There were a lot of doctor's appointments, a lot of meetings, a lot of decisions that had to be made, and decisions that had to be thought about that I wasn't thinking about yet. And so during one of those meetings was actually conducted in the chemo room. And it was a tour of the room. I was there with my sister and with an oncology nurse. And she was talking about the regimen that I was going to be given, which was carboplatin, Taxotere, and Herceptin. So I was learning some big words that I wasn't familiar with and had to learn really fast what cancer was all about. So I'm in the chemo room and I'm sitting there and I'm listening to everything she's trying to prep me for while I'm looking around and just really having a humbling moment. And she's explaining to me what the symptoms I should plan for will be. You know, I'm going to be losing my hair. That's going to be a given. I will have swelling. I will have fatigue. I will have bloating. I will have chemo brain. That's not clinically a clinical term. And I will probably have short-term memory loss as well. And so I'm thinking, I'm young, not going to happen to me. But listening to it was very, very eye-opening. So I'm sitting there and trying to comprehend what's happening, comprehend what I'm listening to. And it was during that meeting that I received the baguette. So it was introduced to me, like it was given to me, and it was explained to me that it was a bag full of resources that would help me navigate what I might not realize I'm going to be navigating. And it was also a resource for questions about maybe finances, or questions about where I can get a wig, or questions about caretaking and how to give support to them. So things that I was completely not thinking about. I was only thinking about my mortality and how long do I have to live. And so seeing that was great. And I remember seeing it and thinking, that's a whole lot of information that I am not just ready to look at. But I was really glad that it was there and that somebody took the time to put it all together, because I didn't realize how important it was going to be later on. So on the 22nd day when I started chemotherapy, my family were my caretakers. And so my mother was present there with me, and it was quite a long chemo session because I had an allergic reaction. So I had to take Benadryl, and the drip was really, really slowed down. So it ended up being quite long. And what I noticed was, I brought my baguette with me. I had all my documents in there. I kept it as a go-to, something that I didn't want to see sometimes, but I knew where everything was. My mother would look through it as she was sitting next to me in the chemo room, and she would be, just kind of reading through every single chapter. My friends and family, whenever they were near, they would pick it up and start looking through it. And it was an empowerment for them. Like, I realized that not only was I going through the emotional roller coaster, but my family was too. And this book gave them the ability to have some control over a completely uncontrollable situation. And so it empowered them by giving them information, giving them things to think about, giving them tasks to do. And for me to see them being able to have some sort of footing in a situation where their daughter, their auntie, their cousin, their sister is going through this is a really remarkable thing that is really hard to put into words. And for myself, because I had chemo brain, I wasn't able to cognitively put words together, speak sometimes, walk. It was really difficult to even just function. And so it wasn't something I was able to do, but it was something I couldn't predict that I wasn't going to be able to do, because I thought I was going to be okay. I was going to be fine. It was really strong, really healthy. So it wasn't going to happen to me. And so it was really great to know that my family had that resource, because I wasn't going to be able to get on the internet and look for all those resources. So what it did for my family and for me is it bought us time. It bought us time that we were not going to be looking on the internet for all these resources. It bought us time to spend together when I didn't know how much time I was going to have left. And so that is, I think, an unspeakable gift that Bagot gives to people. It gave my family more time to spend with me. It gave me more time to spend with them, me time to think, me space to just be. And knowing that when I was ready, I can look into the resources and find where I can get a wig for free, or look to see where there's a support group. And so it was such an important piece of my journey that I think is unmistakably important. And I don't think enough people realize how important the Bagot is until you go through what you go through. But it's such an extension of like a community. It not only affected me, it affected my family in a loving way. It affected my relatives in a loving way, my village in a loving way. So all the sponsorship that goes into this is really affecting communities and communities within communities and our villages, because we're all connected, right? It takes a village, that's kind of a saying. And I think it's really important to just realize that the ripple effect is closer than you think and stronger than you know. And I'm just really appreciative that I was a recipient of Bagot, and I sponsored a Bagot as well. And I'm just very joyful to know that it's going to have whatever imprint on whoever receives it, on their life, and it's going to affect them in a way that it needs to affect them, whether they never use it or whether they use it every day. But what you do is powerful.